Those are dangerous accusations that she's making, because in the state of Illinois, they're twice as high to die in the state penitentiary of Illinois than they are in detention.
You are invited to this committee. This is my time.
And you need to be informed by what you're saying.
I am informed.
No, you're not, ma'am.
This was not just a disagreement. This was a direct confrontation over deaths inside America's immigration detention system. A Democratic lawmaker asked a simple question. Does DHS have a real policy to prevent people from dying in custody? But instead of answering that question, Secretary Mullin attacked the numbers, changed the subject, and turned the accusation back on her. She brought medical failures. She brought deaths. She brought accountability. And his response was not a clear answer. It was a defense. Because when the question is about preventing deaths, comparisons and excuses do not erase responsibility. And the next moment is where the contradiction becomes impossible to ignore.
I actually don't want to talk about politicizing. Well, I want to meet with you to discuss this in depth.
You made some accusations here about President Trump that's actually not accurate. Because
Mr. Chairman.
If you're going to make accusations, though, you have to let us respond back to them.
Reclaiming my time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so you're lying about it
Mr. Chairman.
Because you don't want to hear the truth.
Mr. Chairman, this week President Trump's nominee.
Mr. Secretary, the record will reflect that you have agreed to meet with the lady and her folks, and since I'm trying to keep people in 8 minutes, please proceed.
Thank you. This week, President Trump's nominee to head FEMA, Cameron Hamilton, appeared before the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee and pledged that FEMA would be fair and reasonable when evaluating requests for disaster aid. Secretary Mullin, will you make the same commitment as Mr. Hamilton to evaluate disaster requests fairly, reasonably, and without regard to politics? Yes or no?
It's interesting that you won't allow me to answer those questions. I can explain it to you, because I don't look at states different between blue or red. I look at them across the country as a whole. And if you actually want to know what we're doing, I'll be happy to, so you're not worried about this. I don't look at this any different, ma'am, and I'm not here to argue with you. I'm not here to fight with you. I like facts.
Great.
Accusations doesn't help anybody.
I appreciate
the more you're informed, the better you know,
and
because you're saying some stuff that's not true.
And I hope that Illinois receives the same fair consideration as any other state. Now, I'd also like to address another deeply concerning matter, detainees who died while in your custody. Secretary Mullin, since Donald Trump took office, DHS's immigration detention system has been plagued by medical neglect, abuse, overcrowding, and a historically high death rate. I saw these dangerous conditions with my own eyes when I visited the Miami Correctional Facility in Bunker Hill, Indiana, where I met with individuals who told me that it takes months to receive medication refills, including for life-threatening illnesses like diabetes. Others reported being left unattended with infected boils and other serious conditions. So it's no surprise that a detainee at that facility died shortly after my visit, or that more detainees died in ICE custody in 2025 than ever before. Secretary Mullin, does DHS have any official, specific internal goals or policies to reduce deaths in custody?
Ma'am, your numbers just aren't accurate. We've had 0.009%.
Mr. Secretary,
you're asking about this. It's 0.009% of deaths. And we've had 54 total in the president's time. Those are dangerous accusations you're making.
Mr. Secretary.
Those are dangerous accusations that she's making, because in the state of Illinois, they're twice as high to die in the state penitentiary of Illinois than they are in detention.
You are invited to this committee. This is my time.
And you need to be informed by what you're saying.
I am informed.
No, you're not, ma'am.
Mr. Secretary, does DHS have any
do you realize that we have 1 doctor per 1,000 for detention centers for our federal detention centers? In the state of Illinois, they have 1 per 1,800. But yet she wants to focus on our detention centers?
That. You'll get your time.
This is where the entire defense starts to collapse, because the question was never about a statistic. It was never about comparing one prison system to another. The question was simple. When people are dying under your custody, what is your plan to stop it? And instead of answering that question, Secretary Mullin immediately shifted the battlefield. He attacked the numbers. He attacked the accusation. He attacked the person asking the question. But that is not accountability. That is a distraction. Because when a government agency controls detention facilities, the responsibility is not to explain why criticism is unfair. The responsibility is to prove that every possible measure is being taken to prevent another death. Underwood brought personal testimony. She brought cases from people inside these facilities. She brought the question that families of the deceased want answered. And the response was not a clear policy. It was defense. It was comparison. It was an attempt to move the conversation away from the people who lost their lives. And then she does something that makes the entire entire confrontation even harder to ignore. She asked the same question again, because when the answer is clear, you give it. But when the answer keeps changing, people start asking why.
Secretary Mullin, does DHS have any specific internal document, policies, or goals to reduce deaths in custody?
And we do a wonderful job on providing
yes or no
medical
question,
to.
sir.
We're doing a wonderful job at it. We have
Is it your
0.009%
testimony
of deaths
that you do not
in
know
our
whether the
prison,
department that you lead
which is a
has
lot better than the state of
policy?
Illinois.
Is it your testimony that you do not know whether or not the department that you lead has a policy to reduce deaths in custody?
No, I did not say that, ma'am.
You didn't answer my question.
Yes, I did. You're making accusations and you're not even
I'll
looking
take
at your
that
own
as a
state.
no. You have no policy or plan to reduce deaths in custody.
That's not
now,
true.
2 months ago, I asked ICE
Our medical staff
acting
does a
director,
phenomenal
Todd
job.
Lyons,
In
the
fact,
same
every
question.
detainee sees a doctor
said
or
that-
a nurse with every 2 weeks.
I reclaim my time.
Okay, ask your next question.
Okay. 2 months ago, I asked ICE Director Todd Lyons the same question. He said that ICE, quote, hopes that there will be no deaths in custody, but admitted that the agency had no actual policy in place to prevent them. Rather than implement one, he resigned just a few hours later. Secretary, since that hearing, 3 more people have died in ICE's custody, and those are the only deaths that we know about based on your agency's public reporting. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to request unanimous consent to enter into the record a report that came out today from Human Rights Watch and Physicians for Human Rights titled Dying in Detention, Rising Deaths in an Expanding U.S. Immigration Detention System.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Drawing on government records, detention data, and expert medical reviews, this report outlines 52 deaths in ICE custody during President Trump's second term and highlights the concerns we've been raising to your department regarding the lack of access to medical care, suicide prevention, transparency, and accountability in detention facilities. Secretary Mullin, ICE's detainee death reporting has not been updated since April 28th of 2026. The death rate in ICE custody has doubled during President Trump's second term. Will you commit to reporting detainee deaths as required by law?
We do report them, ma'am. No one,
So is it your
I don't know.
testimony then
We
that there is
report these.
no-
What you're talking about is what Congress has asked us to do, which we're not required to do, is report the deaths after they're released. That
no.
doesn't make any sense. They're not under our
Mr.
watch at that
Secretary,
point. If
is
they
it your
die in
testimony
our
that
release,
you are
we
Is it your
report them.
testimony that there have been no deaths since April 28th?
I didn't say that.
Okay, so are you going to commit to complying with the required reporting requirement?
Ma'am, we were shut down for
Okay,
115 days under this
reclaiming my
department.
time.
So I don't know what
Secretary.
we just now reopened. So I don't know what reports
Mr.
you want us to
Chairman,
do
I
when
don't
you're
know what to
willing to
tell you,
fund
Mr.
us.
Chairman.
You want the reports, but you don't want to fund us? That
Secretary's
makes no
belligerent
sense.
here and has been taking up my time.
What's your next question?
My next comment is that the ICE
No, there's no
director-
questions. It's just comments.
No, I had a question. He didn't answer my question. And so
So the record will reflect that. What's your next question?
yes, sir. There is a policy of reviewing and publicly reporting deaths that occur within 30 days of a detainee's release from custody. And that policy existed to prevent ICE from avoiding accountability by releasing seriously ill people shortly before they die. And as a nurse, I find this deeply troubling change in their reporting posture. Families deserve answers, and Congress should be able to conduct oversight, and the American people should have confidence that deaths connected to federal detention are not being hidden through administrative loopholes or filibustering. Transparency is not optional. There are laws and reporting requirements, and if this administration is unwilling to account for what happens to people in its custody, then it's Congress's role to question whether it deserves more authority, more detention capacity, or any additional cent from the American people. Mr. Chairman, thank you for letting me finish my comments, and I yield back.
And this is the moment that defines the entire exchange. The question was repeated, the opportunity to answer was given, but instead of revealing a specific policy designed to prevent deaths, Mullin continued defending the department's performance. That is the contradiction. A department responsible for holding people in federal custody should not be judged by how well it explains criticism. It should be judged by what it does when lives are on the line. Underwood Underwood did not leave the hearing asking for excuses. She left demanding transparency because the issue was never just a number on a page. It was about whether the government is willing to admit failures, correct them, and protect people before another tragedy happens. And when the final argument becomes, trust us, we're doing a good job, instead of, here is the policy preventing these deaths, that changes everything. Because accountability does not hide behind explanations. Accountability answers the question, and this question was never answered.